So it was a tricky exit to the doldrums for Boris Herman on board Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco. He ended up losing a few miles to the boats around him, but things are still very close at the front of the Vendée Globe fleet, and there's plenty of miles still to sail to the finish with lots of opportunities. So let's have a look at a few of them. So at the moment, you've got the fleet sailing in the northeasterly trade winds. We can see there's a couple of different strategies opening up. Firstly, Louis Berton over in the west is sailing slightly lower and faster, and Charlie Dallin is going for a slightly more direct and higher route, and Boris is currently going for somewhere kind of in the middle. And it all really depends on what kind of the setups each person has on board, and what angles that they think the boat sails fastest. But an interesting point to consider in the trade winds is further towards the east, the wind is blowing a bit more from the north, and further towards the west, it's slightly more from the east. So the further towards the west you get, you'll have a slightly better angle going towards the north. If we go forward to look at the satellite images, so here's the visible sat images, and it's a really good way of telling when you've crossed the doldrums and are into the good trade wind conditions. So the doldrums is marked by this large kind of cloud covering area, and once you get into this clearer area of cloud, you can see that there's these pockets of cloud cells like this covering kind of the whole trade wind area, and it will indicate kind of where the stronger and lighter bits of trade winds are, and you can look at each individual cell and expect there to be gusts and lulls with associated to each of them. So a good way of indicating when Boris entered the trade wind area. If we go forward 24 hours, we look at kind of the strategy. So the fleet are expected to continue sailing in this northeasterly trade winds, and slowly they'll make their way up towards the Azores high pressure, which is currently sat in quite a flat shape, and basically what's going to happen is there's a big low pressure system moving in over here, and that's going to cause the high pressure to move up over in this direction. And basically what the fleet are looking to do is looking for to get a right hand shift, so they get lifted towards the high pressure and then jibe and make their way north into the good wind. So if we have a look in 72 hours from now, so this is Friday at 9:30 UTC, you can see that this low pressure system has kind of forced this part of the high pressure down towards the south, and now it's orientated down towards the southwest. But the main body of the high pressure is moving its way up towards kind of the Portuguese coast. So Boris will be expected to be kind of approaching this high pressure, probably in quite light winds at this point. And what are we looking to do is to get a lift, and then once he's been lifted enough to jibe and make his way into the first of kind of the low pressure systems up in the North Atlantic. So it's all about the timings here and keeping a good eye on the forecast. Things are changing on very kind of small fine levels, and as a result, he'll have to keep updating his kind of route and his forecast and exactly where he wants to place himself and at what time.